Have you ever stood up from your chair and felt like your legs were made of concrete? That strange heaviness in your thighs, the stiffness behind your knees, or that dull ache in your calves, like something's draining your strength one step at a time? What if I told you it might not be aging? And it might not even be your joints. It might be the fruit you're eating. Yes, fruit. Because what you're about to hear may go against everything you've been told your whole life. We've all grown up hearing the same thing. Eat more fruit. It's healthy. Doctors said it. Nutritionists repeated it. You believed it. And you followed it faithfully, adding bananas to your breakfast, snacking on grapes, drinking orange juice first thing in the morning. But what no one told you is that after 60, your body changes. Your circulation slows. Your muscle cells aren't as quick to recover. Your insulin response weakens. And the fruits that once nourished you in your youth, they can quietly turn on you in later life. Some fruits, despite being natural and full of vitamins, can now trigger inflammation, joint pain, swelling, even muscle loss, especially in your legs. And here's the silent danger. No one feels it right away. You don't eat a pineapple and immediately feel pain. You don't drink a glass of orange juice and instantly lose strength. The damage is subtle, but it builds day after day, week after week, until one day you realize you're avoiding stairs. You're gripping the handrail a little tighter. You're taking fewer walks because your legs feel like they're giving out. And you ask yourself, why? I've been doing everything right, but you haven't been told the full story. That's why we created Health 360 Pro, to bring you the truth, especially the truths that no one else is talking about. And today, I'm revealing the 7 fruits that are secretly wrecking your leg strength after 60. Not because they're toxic or artificial, but because your body isn't the same as it was 30 years ago. And if you don't understand how these fruits affect your older physiology, you could be unknowingly draining your strength, inflaming your joints, and risking long-term mobility loss. But here's the good news. Once you know which fruits to avoid and which to embrace, everything changes. Leg pain can fade, swelling can drop, your energy can come back, and the strength in your thighs, calves, and ankles can return. Not in months, but often within weeks. And it starts with what you put on your plate. Now let's step back for a moment. Why are the legs so important after 60? Because they are your independence. You lose your legs, and you lose your freedom. Getting to the bathroom becomes difficult. Stairs feel like a mountain. Even short walks become a risk. Your legs are more than just limbs. They're your lifeline to movement, vitality, and confidence. And that's why protecting them should be your top priority. But no one talks about how food, specifically fruit, impacts leg strength. Most health advice is too general. It treats a 65-year-old the same as a 25-year-old. It assumes that all fruits are good all the time. But that's simply not true, because fruit doesn't act the same way in an aging body. A mango might hydrate a 20-year-old athlete, but for someone over 60 with slower insulin response and chronic inflammation, it can cause a sugar spike that floods the bloodstream with glucose, leading to joint irritation, poor circulation, and fatigue. It's not about the fruit being bad, it's about the body no longer being able to process it optimally. You see, once we pass 60, our metabolism shifts, our digestive enzymes drop, our muscle fibers don't repair as quickly, and high fructose fruits, especially in large portions, can become a burden on the body. You start to experience more stiffness in your joints, not realizing it's connected to what you ate. The oranges, the grapes, the bananas, fruits you trusted, can be silently inflaming the tissues that support your hips, knees, ankles, and thighs. And this isn't a theory. It's something we've seen over and over again with our Health 360 Pro community. Seniors who thought they were eating healthy, seniors who followed all the mainstream advice, and yet they were still struggling with muscle fatigue, leg cramps, and slow recovery. But the moment they made a small shift, cutting out the wrong fruits and replacing them with senior-safe options, the change was almost immediate. They stood up with less effort. They walked further without pain. They regained confidence in their body. And let me be clear, this isn't about quitting fruit forever. It's about being smart. It's about choosing fruits that support your aging muscles and avoiding those that quietly weaken them. Once you know which fruits are working against you, you get to take back control. You get to feed your body instead of fighting it. And that's what I want for you. Because no one deserves to wake up every day wondering if their legs will hold them up. No one should have to fear losing mobility because of the very foods they thought were helping them. And no one should be left in the dark about something as simple, as fixable, and as life-changing as fruit. So if you've been feeling slower lately, if your knees feel tight, your calves are always cramping, or your thighs just don't have the power they used to, this video is for you. Because what's causing that weakness might not be age. It might be the fruit bowl on your kitchen counter. In just a moment, we're going to dive deep into the most common fruits that are secretly draining your strength. But first, I want you to take a breath. You haven't done anything wrong. You've been trying your best. And now that you have the right information, you can finally make choices that match your body. Not the body you had 30 years ago, but the one you're living in today. And that's where change begins. Not with fear, not with restriction, but with understanding. So stay with me, because the next few minutes could give you something more powerful than any pill, any diet, or any therapy. You're about to get your strength back, and it starts with what you're not eating anymore. Let's talk about the first fruit that surprises nearly everyone, because it wears the disguise of being the healthiest, bright, golden, and tropical. You see it in wellness smoothies, anti-inflammatory juicing recipes, even arthritis diet plans. But for seniors, it can be a quiet saboteur. I'm talking about pineapple. Yes, pineapple. Famous for its bromelain content and praised for reducing inflammation. But what no one says loud enough is this. Pineapple is loaded with acid. And after 60, your body becomes far more sensitive to acidity than ever before. Your joints, which are already more vulnerable to wear and tear, don't respond kindly to daily acid assaults. The result? That tingling stiffness you feel in your knees after lunch. That pressure behind your ankles after a light walk. You don't think twice about it at first, but it's your body reacting. It's not just old age, it's what's in your digestive tract. And it doesn't stop with acidity. Pineapple is also rich in natural sugars. Now, sugar in fruit isn't inherently bad, but when your insulin response weakens, which it naturally does as you age, those sugars don't get processed efficiently. They circulate longer, they spike inflammation, and over time, they impair blood flow to your extremities, especially your legs. Think about it. You eat something sweet and a couple of hours later, your legs feel sluggish. That's your body telling you something. It's not just tired, it's struggling. For some, it manifests as a heavy feeling behind the knees. For others, it's swelling around the ankles by dinner time. And you might brush it off because it's gradual, but the message is loud if you know how to listen. This fruit isn't serving you anymore. And when you remove it, or swap it for something more senior-friendly, things start to change. Now, let's talk about another fruit that's often seen as a muscle builder, the banana. Full of potassium, right? Good for cramps? That's what we're told. But here's what's rarely said. Bananas are dense in fast-digesting sugars and starch. They're one of the highest glycemic fruits you can eat. That means they spike your blood sugar fast, and then drop it just as quickly. And when your energy crashes, your legs feel it first. If you've ever had a banana for breakfast and then felt shaky or stiff by mid-morning, that's not your imagination. That's your body dealing with the blood sugar roller coaster. It affects your ability to contract and relax muscle fibers efficiently, which is why you might feel fine at first, but then find it hard to climb stairs, lift grocery bags, or walk for more than 15 minutes without discomfort. What's even more challenging is that bananas contribute to water retention in some seniors, especially those with existing heart conditions or blood pressure issues. That puffiness in your calves, the sock line that doesn't go away. Sometimes it's not salt, it's sugar. And bananas, though natural, can be the trigger. We see it over and over in our community. Someone swaps out bananas for a low-sugar, fiber-rich alternative, and within a week, less swelling, more stability, and improved endurance. This isn't magic, it's biology. Once you stop adding the wrong input, your body starts healing. And here's the hard truth. These fruits aren't doing this because they're evil. They're just not suited for your body anymore. They're feeding a system that isn't processing food like it used to. And when that system gets overloaded, it manifests where you're most vulnerable, your legs. It's the weight of fatigue at the bottom of your thighs. It's the dull, persistent ache behind your knees. It's the feeling that even after 8 hours of sleep, your body hasn't truly rested. That's not age, that's inflammation. And it's often fueled by what you think is healthy. Let me tell you about one of our viewers. Her name is Lorraine. She's 68. She walked every morning, did yoga twice a week, and ate what she thought was the perfect diet. Lots of fruit, including oranges, grapes, and bananas, but her legs kept betraying her. She said it felt like they belonged to someone else, like they weren't responding the way they should. By 3 p.m., she had to lie down. She chalked it up to aging, but something didn't sit right with her. After watching one of our videos about fruit and inflammation, she made one change. She cut out bananas and swapped her morning orange juice for water with lemon and ginger. Within a week, her swelling dropped by half. Her stairs got easier. Within 2 weeks, her daily walks went from tiring to energizing. And within a month, she called it her miracle switch. But it wasn't a miracle. It was just the right information at the right time. Now, imagine what could happen for you. Not because you want to be 30 again, but because you want your legs to carry you freely through your 60s, 70s, and beyond. Imagine standing up without pain, walking without fear of fatigue, living without the constant background noise of discomfort. It's possible. But it starts with identifying the quiet enemies, the well-dressed saboteurs in your fruit bowl. There's another one we need to talk about. Grapes. Yes, those little bite-sized bundles of sugar. They seem so harmless, even virtuous, but grapes are packed with fructose, and for aging bodies, fructose can become a major problem. When your liver struggles to process it, excess fructose turns into uric acid, and when uric acid builds up, it settles in your joints, ankles, toes, knees. It doesn't care. It causes stiffness, sharp pain, and for many seniors, a creeping sense of immobility. Ever woken up with a sore toe that wasn't there the night before? Or a nagging pain in your knee that flares up after a short walk? Grapes could be contributing. And again, it's not about never touching them again. It's about being aware, moderation, timing, understanding that your body now has a different relationship with sugar, especially in fruit form. Because sugar in fruit doesn't come with the same warnings as candy bars, but in many cases it acts the same way. It spikes, it inflames, it dehydrates, and your muscles, especially the ones in your legs, are the first to pay the price. This is why most seniors aren't weak, because they're lazy. They're not slow because they don't care. They're struggling because they've been given the wrong blueprint, and no one's told them how to update it. But you're different, you're here, you're listening, and that means you're ready. Ready to reclaim your health from the inside out. Ready to step into a version of yourself that feels stronger, lighter, more capable. Not by taking a magic pill, not by overhauling your life overnight, but by making one informed decision at a time, starting with your next piece of fruit. Stay with me, because in the next part, I'll share one of the most shocking fruits on this list. One that tastes like water, looks harmless, and yet, for many seniors, is silently wreaking havoc on leg circulation and joint health. And chances are, it's sitting in your fridge right now. Now let's talk about the one fruit that probably fooled you the most. It's sweet, juicy, and feels like you're just drinking water in fruit form. It's what we all reach for in summer to stay hydrated, thinking it's a light, refreshing choice. But the truth is, this fruit can silently sabotage your legs if you're over 60. I'm talking about watermelon. Yes, watermelon. It's 92% water, low in calories, and often labeled as the perfect summer fruit. But what no one tells you is that watermelon has a sky-high glycemic index. That means it floods your bloodstream with sugar, fast. And for seniors, that's a recipe for disaster. Because when blood sugar spikes quickly, it's not just your pancreas that reacts. It's your circulation, your nerves, your joints, and especially your legs. Here's what happens. You eat a few slices of watermelon, maybe even a whole bowl because it's just fruit. Your blood sugar surges. Insulin rushes in to bring it down. But because your insulin sensitivity isn't what it used to be, the sugar lingers longer. That excess sugar travels through your bloodstream and inflames the tiny blood vessels in your legs, the capillaries that supply oxygen and nutrients to your calves, thighs, and knees. Over time, this leads to something you might know all too well: leg fatigue, burning, cramping, or that heavy dragging feeling when you try to walk. And here's the trickiest part. Because watermelon feels light, you assume it's harmless. You don't blame it. But meanwhile, your body is giving you the signals. That weird swelling in your ankles, that buzzing sensation behind your knees, that's your body crying out for balance, for something steadier, for fuel that supports it rather than spikes and crashes it. And this is where so many seniors go wrong. Not because they're making bad choices, but because they're following outdated rules. Advice that was designed for young, active bodies with lightning-fast metabolism. But your body now is more selective. It needs foods that deliver steady energy, reduce inflammation, and preserve joint function. Watermelon does the opposite. It gives you a rush of sweetness without any fiber to slow it down. It acts more like a soft drink than a superfood. And your legs pay the price. Now, let's shift to a fruit that's been marketed as the king of immunity. You see it in every breakfast buffet, every vitamin C campaign, every healthy start to your day. It's bright, it's cheerful, and it comes in slices or juice. You guessed it. Orange. Oranges are rich in vitamin C, yes, but they're also loaded with citric acid and fructose. And for many seniors, especially those with joint stiffness or inflammation, this combination is toxic to comfort and mobility. Citric acid may seem harmless, but when it builds up in your system, it irritates the lining of your joints. And when you already have some inflammation or mild arthritis brewing, that acid pours gasoline on the fire. The result? Morning stiffness, that tightness in your hips, the aching feeling in your legs after sitting for too long. It doesn't come all at once. It's slow, subtle, and that's why it's so dangerous. You sip orange juice thinking it's healthy, but your knees say otherwise, and your hips start to agree. And let's talk about the sugar in orange juice. Even fresh squeezed contains a heavy dose of sugar, and unlike eating a whole fruit, juice has no fiber to slow the absorption. So when that sugar hits your bloodstream, it behaves just like soda, a sharp rise, a fast fall, and in between, inflammation, fatigue, and a quick loss of muscle energy. Ever notice how a glass of orange juice in the morning gives you a short burst of energy, then you're dragging by 11 a.m.? That's your muscles running out of fuel, and your legs are usually the first place you feel it. Climbing stairs, even just walking across the kitchen, becomes harder than it should be. And again, the fruit isn't evil, it's just no longer suited to your needs. This is the new reality we have to embrace after 60. Our body doesn't burn through food the way it used to. Our joints are more reactive, our muscle cells demand steadier support, and the very fruits we once loved, they need to be reconsidered. Now, let me introduce you to something even sneakier, a fruit that feels like a safe snack, crisp, green, tart. You might even eat it with a sprinkle of cinnamon or a slice of cheese. It's marketed as a light choice, but for many seniors, this fruit causes more joint irritation than benefit. Green apples. Green apples are packed with something called malic acid. It's what gives them that sour bite. And while that acid has some cleansing properties in a young, resilient body, in an older body, it often leads to discomfort. If you've ever eaten a green apple and felt sore the next day, or noticed a tingling in your joints or calves, you're not imagining it. That's malic acid at work, creating irritation in areas already prone to inflammation. And like many other fruits on this list, green apples aren't low in sugar. The acid masks it, so they don't taste as sweet, but they still deliver enough fructose to cause a mild blood sugar reaction, especially if eaten alone, without protein or fiber. That's why so many seniors report strange late-night leg cramps after having an apple before bed. The sugar crashes overnight, the muscles don't get the steady fuel they need, and the result? You wake up stiff, sore, or even limping. Here's what no one tells you about these foods. They're not bad, they're not toxic, but they need to match the system they're feeding. And after 60, your system needs support. Not spikes, not acidity, not bursts of sugar that lead to crashes, but balance, consistency, gentle nourishment that respects the delicate balance of your joints, nerves, and circulation. That's what we do here at Health 360 Pro. We help you update the blueprint. We help you reconnect with your body, not as it was, but as it is. Strong, wise, but also more sensitive than it used to be. And that's not a problem, that's an opportunity. Because the moment you start feeding your body correctly for the stage you're in, you unlock a kind of energy, strength, and mobility that most people assume is gone forever. But it's not gone. It's just buried under the wrong foods. And when we clear those out, when we stop treating fruit like it's always good and start treating it like the powerful tool it is, you get your life back. You get your legs back. You get your independence back. So keep going with me. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to share one final fruit. Maybe the most surprising of all. It's sweet, creamy, and almost everyone thinks it's a perfect snack. But in reality, it may be the quietest cause of swelling, stiffness, and nerve pain in your legs. And if you've been eating it thinking it's muscle food, This next part will change everything. Let's talk about a fruit that almost no one suspects. It doesn't come in a flashy color. It doesn't carry that loud citrus bite. It's soft, creamy, and often eaten for breakfast or blended into smoothies. It's even been praised for its potassium and energy-boosting benefits. But for many seniors, this one fruit is quietly contributing to joint tightness, muscle sluggishness, and increased inflammation in the legs. I'm talking about the mango. Now I know what you're thinking. Mango? Isn't that one of the most nutrient-rich fruits out there? And yes, it does contain fiber, antioxidants, and natural enzymes. But here's the catch. Mango is also one of the highest sugar fruits in your grocery store. In fact, one ripe mango can pack more sugar than a can of soda. And for an older body that's already struggling with blood sugar regulation, that's a dangerous game. You see, your leg muscles rely on a steady stream of blood, oxygen, and nutrients to function. But when your blood sugar spikes suddenly, as it does after a bowl of sweet mango, it inflames the linings of your blood vessels. It creates micro-swelling inside the tiny capillaries that feed your legs. And the result isn't always obvious right away. But by late afternoon, you might notice it. That tightness behind the knees, that dragging feeling in your thighs, that unexplained swelling around your ankles, even if you've been sitting all day. And here's what's even more deceptive. Mangoes make you feel good in the moment. The sweetness is satisfying. The soft texture is comforting. But hours later, when the inflammation starts to rise, when your muscles feel drained, when the stiffness starts to creep in, you don't link it back to the mango. You think maybe you overdid it walking to the mailbox. Maybe it's the weather. Maybe it's just age. But it's not. It's cause and effect. And once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. Let me share the story of Michael, one of our longtime viewers. He was 72, retired, and proud to say he walked 2 miles every morning. But he told us that over time, he started to feel like his legs weren't keeping up. He said it was like walking through sand. The power just wasn't there. His doctor told him to stretch more, drink more water, take magnesium. He tried it all. Nothing changed. Then, after watching one of our videos, he made just one switch. He stopped putting mango in his morning smoothie. Within a week, he felt the difference. By week 2, his pace picked up. By week 3, he walked those same 2 miles and still had energy left. That's not luck. That's the body finally getting a chance to function without being sabotaged. And that brings us to one last fruit, one that hides behind its innocent appearance more than any other. Tiny, round, rich in color, often eaten by the handful or tossed into salads. It's fun to eat, easy to overeat, and promoted as heart healthy. But for aging joints and sensitive nerves, it can quietly trigger inflammation and nerve sensitivity. I'm talking about cherries. Now I know that might come as a surprise, because cherries are often recommended for gout. And it's true, in small amounts, certain compounds in cherries can reduce uric acid. But that doesn't mean cherries are automatically safe, especially when eaten in excess, because most commercial cherries, especially sweet varieties, are packed with sugar. And many seniors aren't eating 5 or 6 cherries. They're eating 20 or 30 at a time. That's when the problem starts. All that sugar overwhelms your system. And like the other fruits we've discussed, it floods your blood vessels, stresses your liver, and puts pressure on the nerves that power your legs. That means more tingling, more night cramps, more of that prickly, restless sensation in your calves and feet. And the worst part? You're eating them, thinking they're helping you. This is what we call nutritional confusion. Being told a food is good in one context, so you assume it's good in all contexts. But health is never that simple, especially not after 60. Because after 60, your body has new needs, new sensitivities, and new thresholds. And if we keep eating like we're 30, we end up feeling like we're 80. But what happens when we change that? When we start listening to what our body is actually saying, not what we were told 20 years ago, that's when things begin to transform. And not just physically, but emotionally. Because for many people, leg pain isn't just pain. It's a loss of freedom, a loss of control. You stop walking as far. You stop going out as much. You say no to that dinner invite because you're not sure you can handle the walk from the parking lot. You cancel plans because you're afraid of being slow. And little by little, your world shrinks. But what if something as simple as removing a few fruits could start to reverse that? What if by adjusting your plate, you could give your legs the fuel, the blood flow, and the joint relief they've been craving for years? It's possible. And we've seen it happen. When people reduce these trigger fruits, when they calm the sugar spikes, eliminate the hidden acids, and reduce the pressure on their nerves, everything shifts. Legs move better. Muscles recover faster. Stairs don't look so intimidating. Walks become enjoyable again. And slowly that sense of control returns. That confidence that your body is working with you, not against you. This isn't about fear. It's not about demonizing fruit. It's about making peace with what's true for you, right now, at this stage of life. Because if you've been told your pain is just part of aging, if you've been handed a stack of prescriptions but never told how your food might be feeding your pain, you deserve better. You deserve answers. And more importantly, you deserve options. And the good news? You don't have to give up fruit altogether. You don't need to live in restriction. In fact, there are fruits that support senior bodies beautifully, low in sugar, high in antioxidants, gentle on joints, and powerful for circulation. In just a moment, I'm going to share those with you. The best alternatives, the fruits that work for you, not against you. And when you make the switch, you'll feel it. Not in a year, not in a month, but sometimes in days, because the body remembers how to heal. It remembers how to function. It just needs the right conditions, the right fuel, the right rhythm. And when that happens, when your legs feel stronger, your steps become lighter, your mornings feel brighter, that's when you realize that aging doesn't have to mean slowing down. It doesn't have to mean giving up. It just means getting smarter. So stay with me. Because in the final part of this video, we're going to reveal the exact fruits you can enjoy without the crash, the cramp, or the swelling. We're going to build a senior-safe fruit plan so you can eat with confidence again, and we'll finish by giving you something even more powerful. A 7-day reset to help you rebuild your strength from the ground up. Now that you know what to remove, let's talk about what to embrace. Because this isn't just about restriction, it's about replacement. It's about giving your legs the nutrients, the energy, and the support they need to carry you confidently through your day and your life. Because when you remove the fruits that inflame and destabilize and replace them with the ones that heal, everything begins to shift. The stiffness softens. The heaviness lifts. The swelling begins to recede. And most of all, your strength returns, not in theory, but in motion. So, what are the fruits that love your body back? Let's start with the quiet champions, the ones that don't scream for attention but work miracles over time. Berries, blueberries, raspberries, blackberries. These are anti-inflammatory powerhouses, low in sugar, rich in antioxidants, gentle on joints, and supportive of blood vessels. They help reduce oxidative stress in your muscles and nerves. They support circulation. They stabilize blood sugar. And they do it all while tasting sweet, vibrant, and refreshing. Then there are cherries, but this time, not the sweet kind. We're talking about tart cherries. In small, mindful doses, they can actually help lower uric acid and calm joint inflammation. Not a bowl full, not a snack-sized bag, just a handful after dinner or a splash of unsweetened tart cherry juice diluted in water. It's a subtle shift, but your legs will notice. You'll move easier, you'll rest deeper. And then there's avocado, often forgotten in the fruit category, but absolutely one of the best friends your legs can have. Loaded with healthy fats that reduce internal inflammation, support nerve function, and enhance muscle recovery. The potassium in avocados works differently than the sugar-loaded version in bananas. It supports without crashing your blood sugar. It cushions your joints. It nourishes your system. A few slices a day, maybe with eggs or on whole grain toast, and your legs start to feel the difference. Not just stronger, but calmer, less reactive, more responsive. Another healing option? Pears. Gentle, fiber-rich, hydrating without spiking blood sugar. When paired with a little protein, like a few almonds or a boiled egg, they offer a steady stream of energy. No crashes, no stiffness, just clean, sustained support. That's the key to senior vitality. Steady fuel, not fast spikes. The body runs best when it's not swinging between extremes. And then there's papaya, a tropical option that actually soothes rather than triggers inflammation. It contains enzymes that aid digestion, reduce swelling, and support the repair of soft tissues. Exactly what your legs need if you've been dealing with tension, soreness, or fatigue. It's easy on the gut, it's kind to the joints, and it supports the muscles from the inside out. Now, picture this. You start your morning with a few slices of papaya, a hard-boiled egg, and some warm lemon water. Mid-morning, you enjoy a handful of berries. Lunch includes a fresh salad with avocado and grilled chicken. An afternoon snack might be half a pear with a few nuts. And for dinner, maybe some roasted vegetables, salmon, and a side of quinoa. Clean, simple, nourishing, and every piece of that plate is serving your strength. You're not just feeding your hunger. You're feeding your legs. You're feeding your independence. And when you do this consistently, when you build meals that lower inflammation, support circulation, and stabilize energy, you feel it. You don't just notice it in how far you walk, but in how fast you recover, how well you sleep, how clear your mind feels. Because your legs are connected to everything. They are not just mechanical limbs, they are lifelines to movement, energy, confidence, and freedom. And that's what we want for you. Not just relief from pain, but restoration of power. Because you deserve to live with ease in your own body. You deserve to feel strong, not just on good days, but every day. You deserve to walk without hesitation, to wake without dread, to move through your life with clarity and courage. So, here's what I want to offer you now. A 7-day reset. Just 7 days to remove the fruits that aren't serving you and welcome in the ones that are. 7 days to reduce the load on your joints, calm the nerves in your legs, and bring stability back to every step. You don't need a complicated program. You don't need to track calories. You just need to listen to your body, to the science, to the truth. For 1 week, cut out bananas, mangoes, grapes, pineapple, green apples, watermelon, and orange juice. Instead, lean into berries, avocado, papaya, pears, and small amounts of tart cherry. Drink plenty of water, especially first thing in the morning. Avoid eating fruit alone. Pair it with protein or fat. And notice how your body responds. Every morning, check in. Do your legs feel lighter? Are your joints less stiff? Do you feel more balanced when you walk? Keep a small notebook. Track your progress. Because what you'll start to see and feel is that the body responds quickly when it's supported correctly. Sometimes all it takes is removing a single trigger to unleash your strength again. And if you feel skeptical, that's okay. But give it a chance, give your legs a chance, because they've carried you through so much, through every season, every storm, every milestone. And now, they deserve your support. They deserve healing. And they deserve the right fuel. This isn't about perfection. It's not about fear. It's about wisdom. And the more you honor what your body is asking for, the more it will give back. Not just in steps, but in joy, in vitality, in peace of mind. And if this message resonated with you, you are not alone. There are millions of others who are feeling the same thing, but haven't been told what to do. You can be the voice that helps someone else find relief. So, if you found this valuable, please share it. Send it to someone you care about. Leave a comment below about your experience. Tell us which fruit surprised you most and what change you're ready to make. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Health 360 Pro. This channel exists to serve people like you. Not with gimmicks or generic advice, but with truth, clarity, and strategies that honor your life, your body, and your goals. Because we believe your best years are not behind you. They are ahead of you. And they begin the moment you say yes to healing, to strength, to mobility, to freedom. Thank you for spending this time with us. Your journey matters, and we're honored to walk beside you. We'll see you in the next video, where we'll explore even more ways to protect your joints, sharpen your mind, and fuel your life with purpose. Until then, stay strong, stay curious, and never forget. Your legs don't just carry your body, they carry your future.